guys, this is Jay Newbie and you're watching Newbie Life. If you haven't already, please go ahead and subscribe down below to my channel. I focus on self-help, beauty, and lifestyle. So again, subscribe down below and let's get into the video. Okay, you guys, so I wanted to come to you guys to talk about my experience as a teen mom and 10 major things that changed in my life instantly as soon as I became a teen mom. I will actually be bringing out my daughter later on in the video, and I just wanted to let you guys know that just because you are a teen mom, your life is not over, as we, instantly start thinking when we find out we're pregnant, and that you can be financially stable. You can achieve everything that you wanted. You can settle down, get married, have that happily ever after that you initially hoped for. So let me get into these 10 reasons. I actually wrote it down in my book, so if you see me looking down, it's because I just don't want to miss anything. All right, so the first thing that you will initially notice is body changes. Your body will change instantly and drastically. You'll start seeing weight gain, stretch marks, your boobs got bigger, or they're gonna be a little saggier. I mean, it varies from person to person. I haven't really had any major issues, but I did struggle with some of those things, so just be prepared for that. The second thing that changed was schooling. So for me, schooling as a teen mom, when this happened, I was in my last grade, like in Jamaica. That's where I did my high schooling, and I was in grade 11th grade, which is the grade that they stop over there. That's basically like 12th grade here. It's like your final destination, okay? But I actually stopped going to school. I left school early, ran away, trying to just do stupid stuff, say that I was in love and blah, 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 in my last year of school. So I didn't get to finish high school as I intended. So for moms that actually can get ahead of that and stay in school, if you have that family support system, stay in school while you're pregnant and just finish it, get it over with. Fortunately for me, I left Jamaica and came back to the United States, and I actually just got my GED, and I also went to college and ended up getting an associate's degree. So it doesn't stop, it slows down. I did all of this stuff after I had my daughter, but I did it within the first year. Like when she was a couple months old, I just went back to school. I had that support system, and I'll get into the support system. I mean, my mom was helping me and my grandmother was there as well. So yeah, so keep in mind, school changes. The third thing, and this is a huge one, your mindset. Your mindset and your priorities change instantly. It's like a light bulb goes off in your head. Things that you weren't even thinking about, like your future plans, growing up, getting a good job, all this stuff that we always hear we're supposed to accomplish. It like instantly, it's like it just clicks in your brain. Like, oh my gosh, I have to do this, I have to do that. And your priorities change. You want to do better. So you try to do everything. It's like we speed up in life, kind of. It's kind of a benefit being a teen mom for me, because it kind of sparked my interest in trying to better myself quicker than the average 16 or 17-year-old. So that instantly changed for me. The next thing would be, let's see here, babysitting and a social life. So when you're a teen mom, your social life is going to decrease instantly because most of your friends aren't pregnant. so they're out doing teenage stuff. Meanwhile, you're there trying to, work and, try to finish, do schooling, just try to do and take care of your child. So your social life will decrease. And as far as babysitting, you'll have to have a babysitter every time you want to go somewhere. And that's just how it is. Or bring your child with you, which is kind of awkward if you're the only one with a baby. Another thing that changed was employment and daycare scheduling. When you become a teen mom, most kids your age, I was 16 when I was pregnant, and I had my daughter when I was 17. So most kids that age, they're not even thinking about having a job. I mean, and if they are, it's just to make some extra cash. It's not really thinking, oh my gosh, I have to get a job. I have to provide for a human. Let me get my stuff together and get financially responsible as quickly as I can. So the employment thing, you're gonna try to get employment so that you can help your parents or whoever is helping you out buy diapers, formula, all of that stuff you're gonna need. So you're gonna try to get a job to help you do that. The tricky thing about having a job is you have to make sure that you either have family support, or you have to work your scheduling around the daycare. And that was annoying because, daycare hours range from this time to this time. So you have to make sure that you can actually work and have someone to take care of your child while you're at work. Also, please keep in mind that, remember, you are still young, which means that your parents, aka your child's grandparent or grandparents, are still young too, and they're not going to be available to be a babysitter because they're still working to take care of their own bills. So yeah, I had to work. My first job was at McDonald's. I was working at McDonald's at 17 until I finally turned 18, and I kept working at McDonald's in the night, working at the airport in the day. So I was at the airport, being like a checkout clerk, a ticket clerk, and then doing fast food at night and trying to balance the schedule between daycare, and I used to have to pay my grandmother if she was available, or my mom if she was off on those days. And yes, pay, because you do have to end up, I don't know if you guys have someone that'll do it for free, but anytime I had to go to a social outing, a social event, or working, I would have to pay. I also had to pay rent, help pay some of the bills in the house, like the light bill, or partial rent, like $200 a month or something. And mind you, I was making like change, but of course I was upset with my mom, but I get why she did what she did, because that helped me grow up quicker also, and realize, hey, you want to be grown and do these things, well, this is what comes along with it. You have to help pay bills, you have to do these things, and that's what I had to do. So just keep in mind that you will have to pay for daycare and all of that, because your parents are still like in their 40s or 30s, and they're still trying to get their stuff together as well. Another thing is, dating as a teen mom. Now, dating as a teen mom, I'm just going to tell you now, I mean, I don't know, but for me personally, there was no way I could date while I was pregnant, one, or, while I was pregnant, I was with my daughter's father. But fast forward to after me and him stopped talking, like dating as a teen mom, it's difficult to date someone that is within your age group. So take that out of your mind instantly. It's always going to be an older partner that you could attract or be attracted to, because a 16, 17-year-old, 18-year-old, they're not really in the mindset. They're not even thinking about like you having a child, you know, and they wouldn't know, they wouldn't have a clue about what it takes or taking on that responsibility. An older person would probably understand more and be able to accept the fact that you have a child with you. So keep that in mind, that your options will be limited to older males. Like when I say old, I don't mean like in their 50s, 40s. I'm just talking about like in their 20s. Meanwhile, you're like 17, 18 years old. So that was my thing while I was dating. The next thing would be, let's see here, embarrassment as a teen mom. So yeah, you're gonna be, well, I mean, it's nothing to be proud of, you know. Back in the days, it was like something that was so embarrassing, you know. It's just the stigma around being a teen mom. It's like, it was just an embarrassment. Like, you shouldn't talk about it, you know. I used to go to church with my grandmothers on Sunday, and I just felt very uncomfortable being pregnant, and they know my age, and they just see me coming in there. You know, I'm an unmarried 16-year-old. It was just very hard for me. Even after I had my daughter, and, you know, I would be amongst my coworkers, and they would be like, oh, I have a child. And I'm like, oh yeah, I have a child too. And they would be like, really? And then when they ask the age, and then you're like, oh, she's 2, or, you know, it's just like, oh my gosh, wow, you were really young. You know, they do the math all the time. That's gonna happen, and you just have to get used to it. I mean, now because I'm older, it seems like nothing really, but when you're young and you have that child, it's like, the best advice I could give is just don't beat yourself up, and don't be ashamed of who you are. Be proud that you're actually doing the things that you are supposed to be doing as a teen mom. Okay, so another thing, this is not really for me but I know that a lot of teen moms go through this, and that is custody or legal issues. And basically, that happens when you're a teen mom and the person that you're with. My situation is a bit different. I was with this person while I was in another country. I was in Jamaica, and you know, I was talking to this person since, you know, I was like 14 years old. So, I mean, I started fairly young in the whole dating thing. And the reason being, you know, I had a single mom growing up, and she was hardly around. So she would just be working, and I would just be trying to do stupid stuff. And one of them is boys. So, and that's just a normal thing. It's something that's in us, you know. Girls like boys when they reach a certain age. It's just a part of life. So not having that guidance around because she's trying to pay bills, that's how I ended up getting myself into being a teenage mom. So basically what ended up happening, I was talking to him, everything was good, and then when I was pregnant, he's like, you know, yeah, everything's gonna be okay. You know, even his mom, she lives in England, and she was like, no, we're gonna have this baby, everything's gonna be good, we're gonna be here for you, everything's great. And then my grandmother, she offered him to live there with me so that, you know, he can help raise my daughter, and so that we can be a family together. But she just had one stipulation, and that was we had to be married, because she was a Christian, and, you know, she just didn't approve of being in a household and not being married, having this baby out of wedlock. And of course, I don't blame him either. It's a rational decision, and he couldn't do it. At first he agreed to it, and then he just got scared, and he didn't want to live there in the house with me. But he was still providing financial support to me while I was there and while I was pregnant. But eventually, I came back to the United States to have my daughter over here. And we just, after that, it's just like, we just didn't work. It just didn't work. It was a long distance relationship, and we just didn't, the connection wasn't there anymore. So, yeah, I don't have the legal issues, but she does speak with him every day. She has her own phone, and they talk all the time on WhatsApp or video call. And when we go to Jamaica, I make sure that she spends time with him while we're there. I let her stay with him, and then I just go, to my husband's side, and we stay there. So it still works out. But that will be an issue. Like if both you and the father live in the US, you might have half like legal custody, 50-50 custody, or however the courts decide to do that. Yeah, I think, let me just make sure. So yeah, these were the things that I wanted to talk about. Oh yeah, I have one more final thing, and that is having a stepfather. So having a stepfather was a big deal for me, because if you're not with the person's biological father, this is going to come up in your life. And at some point in time, you're going to want to settle down with someone. You're going to want someone to be around your children, well, your children, whatever. And that would be considered their stepfather. So luckily for me, it wasn't that hard. I knew my husband, he is now my husband. I knew my husband when my daughter was she was almost 2 years old. She wasn't even 2 years old yet when we reconnected. So I pretty much knew my husband back from like when I used to go to high school. And we finally reconnected when I was 19 years old. And, oh, I'm sorry, was I 19? Yeah, I was 19 years old, and my daughter was less than 2 years old. And yeah, we ended up getting married a year later. But he's been in her life before she was 2. So she's been raised with both of us. She calls him, daddy. That's like her father figure in her life. Yeah, she does talk to her father on the phone, her biological father, but to her, he plays a very important role in her life as well. And they have a very close relationship, and you want to make sure that when you do decide to speak to someone else, to make sure that it's a serious relationship. You don't want to keep introducing your child to different partners until you're sure that that's what you want. That's how you're going to spend the rest of your life. You're going to spend the rest of your life with that person, because that can, confuse a child. So I'm very happy that, he's been in her life for 8, almost 9 years now. And I love the bond that they share, and everything just worked out. I even have a son now who is almost 8 years old. He's 7. Yeah, so he's 7 years old, and, they get along great, and it can happen. You can settle down, if you're not with the right person. There is someone out there for you. So I just don't want people to think like if you're a teenage mom, you're just going to be a single teenage mom forever. If you don't try to work it out with the baby daddy. That's not how it works in life. So just be mindful of that. Also, to summarize, I just wanted to talk about some concerns that I did have when I was a teen mom. And that was, like some things that my daughter would ask me when she grows up. She still has not asked me. And that's probably because she's still not there yet. She's not old enough yet. But one thing was, why was I having sex that young? Like, how do you say to your child, like, I don't want you to start dating until you're like 16, 17. But here I was talking to this guy when I was like 14 and ended up getting pregnant at 16. And that's just something that I'm going to have to explain to her, that, we make mistakes, but I want her to be a better version of me. You always want your children to excel more than you did. So I will definitely make sure to bring that up to her. I know she's probably going to ask, why am I not with her father? Which is another big question. And I'm just going to tell her the truth that, sometimes people fall in love and people fall out of love. But these are questions that you will, get from them. And I'm waiting to have those conversations, but I'm in no rush. And the last thing, do I regret my decision? Now, to you guys, being a teen mom, in the beginning, when you just find out you're pregnant, you're like, oh my God, should I have this baby? Should I not have this baby? And you're thinking of other options, adoption, abortion, or delivering your child. And don't feel ashamed to think of these things, because we're young and we're like, oh my God, you start panicking. You're like, I don't know what to do. My mom's going to kill me. My dad's going to kill me. You're just going to think of all these things, and that's fine. But I know she's going to ask that question, and I'm going to let her know, because of my age, I was very nervous about having her. But she is one of the best decisions I have made in my entire life, and she completely changed my path of life. Because at the rate I was going, I don't know where I would be if she hadn't came along and just made me start rethinking what my priorities were. So those are some questions, and I'm quite sure your kids are going to ask other questions, but just be ready for that. But I just wanted to, again, just confirm that I went over everything. So again, it's going to be your body changes, your social life changes, employment changes, babysitting, schooling, dating, just being embarrassed, custody issues, and just your life moving forward, starting a family with a stepfather and other children, and all of that is going to be okay. It's going to be okay. I can assure you. I'm doing great, and I just want you guys to know that it'll be okay. So I decided to bring my baby girl on. This is Princess. We call her Princess because she's a princess. And this is my 10-year-old. She's almost 11 now, and I can't believe it. But yeah, this will be you if you are a teen mom. This will be you one day with a 10-year-old. Yes, honey, posture. Yeah, there we go. I keep telling her, like, stop doing this and more of this. But yeah, so I just wanted to ask you a couple of questions, if you don't mind. Don't be shy, and just, don't act like this is something serious. Just be you, okay? How do you think I am as a mom?
What's that supposed to be?
Like, do you think I'm doing a horrible job, good job?
No, you're a cool mom. Don't say that. You are.
Oh, okay. And let's see, what else? Do you have any questions? Do you know that I was a teen mom?
Yes.
And how do you know that? We never really talked about that, you guys. I never really, spoken to her, but she's pretty smart, and I'm quite sure she probably did the math in her head by now.
I'm just gonna look at pictures.
Yeah, she saw some of my pictures when I was pregnant. Yeah, so that's probably why right? Okay. Yeah, So I just basically just wanted to let you guys know that this is gonna be, you guys, everything's all right. She has all her arms and legs. She's fully functioning. She's an honor roll student. She mostly gets the A honor roll, sometimes AB honor roll. And her favorite subject is what? I think it's English. Yeah, English literature. And your favorite thing to do is
play video games.
Yeah, she's one of those. She's a gamer. I'm so happy that she's into games, if you know what I mean. But yeah, so yeah, she's always playing her games if she's not doing her schoolwork. And we try to spend a lot of time together. It's always good to bond with your child, especially being a teen mom. You know, I know how it is being her age, and I just want to make sure that I capture every moment of it, you know, and try not to miss out on anything. So, and I want her to feel comfortable talking to me. Do you feel comfortable talking to me about everything?
Of course I do.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Anything at all? I think so. Yeah, she'll talk to me about some like random stuff and I'm just like, oh my God. But that's just a part of being a mom in general. It's pretty cool. So there are definitely some cool things that come along with being a mom, and it just reminds you, it flashes you back to when you were that age. So I just wanted to say thank you guys for watching this video. If you found it helpful, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Princess, you can tell them the rest, what to do.
Hit that notification button so you never miss a video. And also smash that like button.
I love it when she says that because she watches YouTube so much. But yeah, so I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.